We are wrapping things up here on a crossover Thursday of the Locked On Bucs and Locked On Commanders. And crossover Thursday is presented by PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code all lowercase Locked On NFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. David, you are the visiting team this week. I will defer to you. What are the three things that the Commanders need to do to win this game?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit all three phases here. I'm gonna go protect Jayden Daniels, and we'll talk about this more, but that also includes Jayden Daniels, protecting Jayden Daniels. Tackle, we just kind of talked about that a little bit, but that's certainly the key. And then make your kicks. Those are the three things. So again, offense, defense, special teams. We're covering all three bases here. Jayden Daniels, that offensive line. Even if the Buccaneers pass rush weaponry doesn't look as sexy on the surface and on paper as it usually does, still an NFL defensive, pass rush, still Todd Bowles and his creativity, his ability to maximize talent wherever he's got it. So you still have to be concerned there. And Jayden himself, look, the conversation has been had. Is he smart enough to not take hits, to slide, to run out of bounds, all that stuff? He is. The question isn't, is he smart enough to do it? The question is he going to do it? Because he also wants to make plays for his team. So I think you got to protect Jayden from a frontline standpoint, but also from a quarterback mindset standpoint as well. Just understand where the best decision is for your team. From a defensive standpoint, tackle. Again, we just talked about guys like Buck Ewing, Rashad White, Mike Evans. We know the yak conversation around Mike Evans, but look, if you miss tackles, anybody's going to get yak, right? Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, certainly a lot of capability there. So this team's got to wrap up and tackle. And I can't tell you that was exactly this team's strongest suit on defense during the preseason. But a lot of like Bobby Wagner didn't play any preseason reps, you know what I mean? So there were some other mitigating factors there that potentially could help this team get better in that aspect. And then kickers. The Commanders had to release their first kicker due to an off-the-field issue, but then they went through two other kickers, one that came from the UFL and all this, and one that became a free agent, and just not a good history there. Cade York comes in from the Cleveland Browns, a seventh-round draft pick trade there. He made all four of his kicks with Cleveland in the preseason. He made all four of his kicks with Washington in the preseason. So that's a much better improvement over what they had been dealing with. So maybe fourth time is the charm for the Washington Commanders. But if you're going to get into field goal range, you need to convert those field goal opportunities into points, because nothing puts a rookie quarterback under pressure faster than a deficit. And if the Buccaneers put up some points, which we do expect the Bucs are going to score, right? And then you're missing out on your scoring opportunities, that's only going to put Jayden Daniels under the gun more, which then trickle-down economics, or wraparound economics, I guess, wraps us right back to the most important thing on this list. So I think all those three things are going to play a hand in what happens in this game. And if the Commanders do those three things, then they have a chance to pull off the upset.
Yeah, this is not the Commanders team, again, that drafted number 2 overall in this past draft. This is a completely new look. This is a completely different franchise. So the Bucs are not guaranteed anything in this. This is not going to be an easy game. This is not going to be a walk in the park. Jayden Daniels is going to cause problems. That defensive front is going to cause problems. Bucs fans are hoping that they miss some tackles, let Jalen get into space and make some plays. But yeah, this is going to be a tough spot for the Buccaneers. So what do they need to do to get a win? Well, first you got to contain Jayden Daniels. You have to attack a very weak secondary, or a perceived weak secondary, and then keep Baker's jersey white. Bucs are wearing white jerseys, white pants, making Commanders play in that Florida Heat in those dark uniforms. But look, it all starts with Todd Bowles being able to put the right scheme together to contain a dual threat like Daniels. Is he going to focus a lot on, his edge rushers really just keeping contained, keeping that pocket, up the side, so that Vita Vea and Kalijah Casey can collapse the middle and open things up for some blitzers? Is he going to disguise a lot of these blitzes? They kept 11 defensive backs on this roster, all of them. Every single one of them are versatile players. You can blitz Antoine Winfield Jr. You can blitz Jordan Whitehead. You can blitz Tyke Smith and Christian Izien and Zion McCollum out of the slot. You can blitz all these guys. You still have Levante David. He's not quite as dynamic as Devin White was, but he can still get after the quarterback in his own right. Are you going to set up a lot of this to confuse Daniels and get after him early get that internal clock in his first NFL game sped up a little bit so he starts making some mistakes with all of these disguises? Are you going to just spy him? Is that the solution? Harken back to Derek Brooks versus Michael Vick. Those kinds of situations. Is it going to be a committee? Is KJ Britt going to be the spy? Levante, you could have Anthony do it. You have a wealth of weapons on the defensive side of the ball. It's about putting those chess pieces in the right spot to make a rookie quarterback very uncomfortable in his first game. And then that secondary, we know Mike is going to be Mike. Jalen McMillan is going to be an absolute stud. I'm looking at Chris Godwin in his return to the slot. You know how dangerous that is.
Yeah.
Think of Cooper Kupp circa 2021. That's the role envisioned by Liam Cohen for Chris Godwin, because there aren't very many, if any, teams that can match up with Chris Godwin in the slot and actually be close to being as good as he is. He's finally fully healthy. This is going to be, a big opportunity for them. And then keep Baker's jersey white. That defensive front for Washington is fantastic. You have a rookie center. You have a new left guard. You have a second-year right guard. You may have the best left tackle in football. You may have an emerging right tackle, but that interior was a problem for the Buccaneers last year. They need to have gelled. They need to be ready to face one of the most difficult defensive fronts that they are going to face all season long right out of the gate. They are in for a fight. Baker has to be upright so that he can attack that weak secondary and really start to rack up those points.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think, like you said, if the Bucs do those things, they certainly should. They're favored in this matchup for a reason. And if they do those three things, then you would assume that they're going to come out with a victory. Of course, as everybody knows, this time of year in Tampa, the weather is probably going to make an appearance in some way, shape, or form. I'm hoping there is not a delay. Although, if there is a delay, I can go across to the Bucs, because this is going to be my first time in Raymond James on the away side of the press box. This is going to be weird. I have a feeling, I'm going to, those of you who have seen me in person know that I like to eat. I have a feeling I'm going to get to the stairs to go down the press box and make the wrong, turn left to go towards the home side of the press box. At least once I'm going to do it, and then have to be like, oh yeah, my bad. I'm over here with the strangers this time. But you know what? So a little bit of a rain delay wouldn't be terrible for me. I can go say hi to some people I haven't seen in a while and do all those things. So it's gonna be super cool. But there's a lot of factors in here. Obviously, it's football, right? So you can't whittle it down to just one thing. But yeah, I think those three things give the Bucs the best chance to pull off the favored victory. But at the same time, on the other side of the ball, man, I'm telling you, Jayden Daniels, brother, he is another animal. I made the comparison that I think if Jayden Daniels' house was on fire, which knock on wood it never is, I think he would walk out of it. I don't think he would run. I think he would walk, and somehow he would still grab all of his valuables, but he would walk out the house and be like, man, house is on fire. Like, that dude just does not shake. And I actually pitched that analogy to his mother once. And she started laughing. She's like, that's it. She's like, that's exactly Jayden. I will make a bold prediction. I know it's not part of the program, but I will make a bold prediction. So we did a little bit of talking about Todd Bowles against rookie quarterbacks. The most rushing yards a rookie quarterback has gotten against a Todd Bowles defense is 38 yards since he's arrived at Tampa, I should say. 38 yards. My bold prediction for you here, James Yarko, Jayden Daniels will eclipse that on one carry. I don't know if it's a first carry, but he will have a carry. It could be a scramble. He will have one rush in the game that will eclipse 38 yards. That's a spicy Cheeto bold prediction for every day, as you remember our categories of bold predictions.
All right, well, then I'll throw out a bold prediction of my own. Jayden Daniels, first career turnover is going to go into the hands of Zion McCollum. Who you predicted on Locked On Bucs every week last year was going to get his first career takeaway. It's happening in week one. And Zion's going to pick off Jayden Daniels. All right.
If he does, I'm going to give him a press box high five. I'm just going to be like, high five in the glass. So we'll have to make sure he knows that I'm doing that for him.
Yeah. I mean, the man bought a jugs machine and then taught his brand new bride how to operate it so that he could work on his hands.
It's about that
business. You got to love the dedication.